Hello guys, today we're going to be solving Pacific Atlantic water flow. So basically the idea is you have a Pacific Ocean, which is this, and you have an Atlantic Ocean, which is this one. And you're trying to see which, all of this are like, think of them as like mountain of different heights. You're trying to see if it rains, which water will flow all the way to both oceans, so both the Pacific and the Atlantic Ocean. So for water to flow, if a height is, for example, 5, this is highlighted because if it flows to 3, 2, then it can go to the Pacific Ocean, and if it flows to 3, 1, it can go to the Atlantic Ocean. And for 4, if it goes to 3, in the Pacific Ocean. If it goes to 4, it's in the Atlantic Ocean. So they all like mark basically that they could go to both. Yeah, and even with this 4, if it goes to 4, then it can go to 3, then it's in the Pacific Ocean. So to do this, I actually had to look up the answer, but it's a very tricky DFS issue, basically. You have to think of it as trying to do DFS not for every point in the grid, but for the outer platform. So like from 1 to 5, 1 to 5 here. You basically check for each of these areas, like how many other columns do they touch, and then make like a different set. I guess you'll understand well once we start coding it. So to start off, we want to define rows and columns, as we always do with this kind of problems. Height is supposed to be length of heights, and it's supposed to be length of heights 0. So that's the column. And then we want to do Pacific and Atlantic Ocean, which is equal to set. And before we do the DFS, we kind of want to loop through each of the columns. So for C in range calls. All right, so now we start with the columns, and basically what we're going to try and do is we're basically going to see if all of these rows, we're going to try and put them in like we're going to try and DFS them for starters. And I think which other one can we do? We could do this one as well. So basically, because we're going through all the columns, we're just going to do this too. So for this one, it's just going to be DFS, for example. I think this is gonna be 0, so we're gonna hard code 0 for the first row, and then C for the column. And what else? We also want to pass in the previous the Pacific set, and because that is this one's the Pacific Ocean. And we also want to pass in the previous height, which for now we're going to make it whatever is at that location. So let's do, what is it? Height 0, height C. So that's the first one, and then we're going to do DFS. The second one is this last one over here, which is the last row. So rows -1, and that should also be C. So for each column down, and this one should be the Atlantic Ocean, because that's what it's touching. And we're gonna do height rows -1. And then we're gonna do the same thing. It's gonna be slightly different, but for the actual rows instead, which would be this lines over here, 1 to 5 and 5 to 4. So Ctrl V. We just want to make this row, and I don't know why this is not in caps. And this should be in cap rows. And yeah, we want to say DFS. I think this time it's gonna be for each row. We want to get the one at 0, and we want to set this to for each row. We want to get the one at 0, and that should be this line over here. And for the second one, we want to make it for each row, we want to get the one at rows -1. And this is the Atlantic Ocean, so that's 5 to 4. And we want to set that straight here as well. R rows -1. So basically the idea with the whole rows minus, the reason we're doing the previous one as this is basically because the logic is if it's equal, it still flows. We're basically pretending there's like another cell that's the same for example. And because that's the case, we're just expecting it to flow. And all we're going to do is just define the DFS now. So def DFS, it takes in a row, a column, visit. So that's all the indexes. I don't know what you call them. Longitude and latitude, X and Y that's visited, and previous height. And then we're just gonna do if let's say RC in visit. So this, we're going to do all the conditions for where we don't actually go through the loop, or R less than 0 or C less than 0. So this out of bounds stuff, or I'm gonna check R greater than rows -1, or C greater than cols -1. And then this is the actual main condition. If the height, if the current height is less than previous height. Oh no, so it's less than previous height because we're going the opposite way. Instead of looking at the things that are less than, we're looking at things that are greater than. So because we're starting from 2, we want 2 to go to 2 if 2 is equal to 2 or greater than. So all we're going to do is say if height R C less than previous height. And that should, if that's the case, we want to return. Okay, yeah. If that's the case, we just want to return. Otherwise, we want to add in visit. We want to add R and C, and then we want to do a DFS for each one of them, pretty much. So DFS R +1 C. What else? I think we put visit again, and the previous height is just going to be the current one. Height R C. Don't increment the R this time. And then we just want to copy that 4 times. You could do this in a loop, but I actually have never practiced that because I'm a lazy person. I shouldn't be saying that on camera, to be fair. And C -1. So basically this, let's say we're on 4, we move to 3, 4, 3, 3, and see if they're all valid. And that's pretty much it, I think. Yeah, there's nothing else to it. And basically that should add everything we need. And then all we have to do is loop through the Pacific. So for P in Pacific and for A in Atlantic, so we're just looping through them. And if P, so basically this is going to compare each element of P with each element of A, and then when they're both equal to each other, we want to add them into the result array, which is the output we expect. And yeah, if P equals A, we want to add this into the result array, result.append. I don't know, like you could do P or A, I don't think it matters. And this is the moment of truth, we return result. And if I didn't make any big mistakes, which I usually do, oh yeah, equals. Yeah, all right, so I've submitted too frequently. Let's try again. Oh, so I said height instead of height. I knew I was gonna make some kind of stupid mistake. And the simple case of passed. Let's hope it passes here as well. Yep, let's look at where we've messed up. Rows. Oh yeah. So I was supposed to. Actually, this is supposed to be columns. Oh no, this one's supposed to be columns -1. And I should change this to columns -1. I don't know why I left it as a row. And yeah, this should work. My bad. So that's the length of the columns basically. And yeah, that is pretty much a solution. This was a very tricky one, and hopefully I get better at these.